Welcome, everyone, to our pre-conference ASPA podcast. My name is Karen Neckelman, and I am the marketing coordinator here at ASPA. Today, we are with Brent Siler. He is partner at Adams and Reese Law Firm. Hi, how are you, Brent? Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you.
You too. So, Brent, you are going to be presenting a session at our conference this October.
Yep, I sure am.
So, to start, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. I am in Memphis, Tennessee. I've been practicing in Tennessee for 24 years, primarily in the area of employment law and commercial litigation. I do, litigation in federal and state court, mainly employment cases, but also contract cases and things like that. But a big part of my practice is also just providing advice, and whether that's advising somebody on whether or not to enter into a contract, drafting a contract, dealing with employee accommodation issues or policy issues, dealing with anything like that. But most probably, if I had to say, my most common issue is someone calling up and asking if they could fire someone or discipline someone, and that's kind of what I thought, would be a good topic for the presentation.
Okay, so your presentation is going to be about what's the name of the presentation?
It's called the questions I'm going to ask you if you want to fire someone.
Okay.
And I may have gotten that kind of wrong in the materials, but that's basically what it is. And where I got the idea, I guess, is, I've been doing this for 24 years, and you realize when people call you and say, "I want to fire this person," you tend to ask them the same questions. And so I started thinking, that if I'm in a room with a lot of administrators, human resources uh, people that have to deal with this issue, uh, might be a useful exercise for me to go ahead and give you the questions I'm going to ask you, and just so that you can sort of pre-screen which situations you might want to call an attorney on, and which situations you think you've got a pretty good handle on and may be okay. And the idea behind it is really to help you uh, sort of identify when you've got risk and when you need to talk to somebody to maybe minimize that risk, or maybe think of a different course other than firing or discipline or whatever you're thinking about doing.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you like the attendees to take away from your presentation?
I think I'd like for them to have confidence that they they have a basic idea of what the different things that can give you risk, what the different potential issues that come up in a termination are, that they're maybe not going to be able to, fully analyze something. And I'm not trying to say this is going to replace working with your counsel, but I do think hopefully will give the attendees some confidence that they have a basic understanding of what's going on, and that they can sort of identify the terminations or the disciplinary issues that are going to be risky, going to be problematic, and it'll help them know when to escalate something and to get some help.
Mhm. And do you think that maybe they can take away something super specific to bring back to their districts or schools and implement?
I think so. I tell you, it's the questions that I'm going to ask you if you want to fire somebody. I'll go ahead and tell you the first one, and it seems to me really intuitive, but a lot of people don't do this. And the first question I always ask is, "Tell me in 30 seconds why you want to fire the person." And I've found that a lot of times with that question, you can already tell if you've got a problem. And that's why I ask it first. And that's because, when you're dealing with the risk of a discrimination or retaliation claim, whatever it is, a lot of that comes from not really knowing why you want to fire them other than you want to fire them. And if you can't get it out in 30 seconds, if you can't say this is why, then you're going to have trouble. And a lot of times when I ask that question, someone says, well, there's a lot of reasons, and they start telling a story, and you still don't have it after a few minutes, and you know you've got an issue. So I'm hopeful that specifically, I guess, to answer your question, you will have these questions, and that is something sort of a framework you can take back with you, or the attendees be able to take back with them to their jobs and say, you know what, when somebody that I'm working with, when an administrator or somebody or a manager calls me and says this person has to go, you can flip out your PowerPoint or just maybe just from your memory say, all right, well, I'm going to run through these questions, and I'm going to make kind of a mental tally of, okay, I think we're in a good spot. I think we can go forward, or you know what, I need to do something else. So my hope is that's the specific takeaway is that you get sort of a framework that you can use to screen for issues. That's kind of how I use it, and I hope that that will help people be more efficient and more um, uh, sort of deliberate when they want to involve counsel or not, and it'll just give them some confidence that they're doing the right thing and they're not exposing their organization to risk from a bad termination decision.
Mhm. Okay, great. So, do you have any social media attendees can look out for you and maybe get some resources?
Adams and Reese, we do have a website and an employment law page where, I just wrote an article. Um, I think well, it may be coming out tomorrow or the next day,
Mhm.
about the recent Supreme Court decision that just came out about what we used to call reverse discrimination claims. The court essentially said there's no reverse discrimination; it's all just discrimination, and there's no heightened standard. So I would encourage you to go to our website, go to the click on employment law, and then there's some information. I can't remember if we call it a blog or if it's just says news and information or something like that. But that's a great source. Um, Beyond that, honestly, I suppose I'm a little bit old school. I don't do a ton on social media. I've got a LinkedIn page and all that stuff, but I don't really, I don't really post stuff. Mainly through the firm when I write something.
Okay, great. But they have like good resources over there to see what you guys
Abs
do and
Yeah, usually when something happens, when there's a big uh, you know Supreme Court holding, and one thing I'll talk about is there's been a lot lately that's been sort of changing some of the foundational stuff you think about in employment law. Whenever that happens, we write an article, put some information out. So there should be, if you go to the website, and it's Adams and Reese. If you go to that, you should be able to find a lot of articles and stuff like that, which are pretty helpful, kind of keeping you up on what's changing. And so much has changed with arbitration and non-disclosure of sexual harassment to different requirements to accommodate pregnant employees to changes in the standard for what's an adverse action. These things just keep kind of rolling out and rolling out and rolling out to the sort of ongoing DEI controversy. We have stuff on all that, and it's you really lately, you gotta keep up because it is changing pretty quickly. So
yes, it is. It's been a crazy ride lately.
it has, and I think it's just going to keep getting crazier, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Okay, well, thank you. Have you been to our conference before, or is this the first time presenting?
No, this is my first time. I'm looking forward to it, and so I'm hopeful I'll have a lot of questions. I know it's a relatively long presentation, so hopefully I can keep everybody awake and engaged, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thank you for joining us and
Well,
see you
thank
in
you.
October in Nashville.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Take care.
Bye. You too.